G'day and welcome to another episode of Tech Adept Crafts. My name is Anthony and today we are looking at all things jungle themed. I've got some jungle trees here, which, not these ones, but I'll talk about them in a minute. These. Now one might be confused if they look like they come out of an aquarium. Maybe they do. What we're looking at here is easy to craft jungle trees. I have CD base, I have plants that have come from a number of different locations, but a lot of it bought from Combat Company in Sydney. They're hobby trees, but you could be confused for aquarium plants. There are even trees from the old Christmas tree that I grew up with as a kid. I think my mother was always confused as to why I would keep these, but I said they'd come in handy one day. Look, Ma, hey. The big thing about these trees is that they can be modular. In the center, I have a gap. That gap can be for crystals, trees. I've got statues, carnivorous plants, all sorts of little things. Tree stumps. You could even do it as like a little rockery pool. You could cover over the base and make it a little bit of a water feature. I think I'll go do one of those some other time. But just having multiple uses for those inserts makes these trees really versatile. And once you start clumping them together, they really do. I'm really happy with how this is turning out. They're very cheap trees. I think each stand, maybe $1.50, $2. So these jungle trees, why did I do them? They go with the August Patreon from TAC. Facing Giants is still available for a few more days, but obviously if you haven't watched this video when it first came out, sorry, you've missed that one. But the rest of the bundle here comes from Ian Lovecraft's Mesoamerican bundle, which I think you can still get the individual pieces over on MyMiniFactory, and I'll try and put a link down there. If not, maybe he might be reprising that at some stage in the future. You can only hope. There are some amazing pieces here, and I love it. There are, I mean, look at that. Suspended dial in the middle, out there on fishing wire, and there's a dice tower, there's pyramids with different pieces that can go on top. It's just, it's beautiful. Now I have also used things like, I think these crystals, and there's a statue or two in here that came from Rocket Pig games. There is a statue here, which I think I got off Thingiverse. There are a huge number of things that you can get out there. But I do love Ian's terrain, and they go beautifully together here. Even though that they are different cultures, they do go very well together. And the whole jungle theme, I think, was something that I really have been wanting to tackle for a long time. Ladies and gents, I'm going to let you sit back and enjoy the mayhem of the first part of the video, because I tried a new product, and you know what they say. Yeah, it didn't go so well. So we'll see how that one turns out at the end of the video. Sit back, enjoy, and we'll see you at the end. Cheers. Starting with some old CDs, I give them a sand on the shiny side. That's so that I can actually stick things onto it later. I've also got some MDF bases here that I've cut a while ago, and that I'm just marking out the 60mm bases that I'm going to use as the inserts. I also have some 40mm bases that I'm going to use on the larger scatter terrain of the trees. Now to have some fun. I have never used this product before, but good old Sculptamold. I'm going to give it a try. Here we go for a bit of trial and unfortunately more so error. But anyway, this is my first time using Sculptamold, and unfortunately I've not done this mix properly. I've got too much plaster in there and not enough water, so this is very, very gluggy. After mixing it up though, I am putting it onto the CD as a rim, very much like I did with the craters that I did a fair while ago. And then I had one of probably the worst ideas I've had in a really long time. So here I am smoothing it out, and then we come to this really bad idea. I really apologize for how this looks. I'm putting burnt sienna paint in with that, thinking that this would be a wonderful idea and save me time. However, I feel like an episode of South Park with Mr. Hanky is ensuing here, but it really didn't work. These bags with the black labels come from Combat Company, and that's a fantastic resource for buying some terrain supplies here in Australia. You can never really have too many supplies, but you never know when you're going to need them. These branches that I'm showing actually come from my old childhood Christmas tree. I've saved them. For ease of remembering what pieces I'm using, I'm saving the label from the tag and just putting it in that bag, and that way when I run out I can go back and order the piece that I wanted. I'm combining several of those pieces together into like little clusters of foliage using some super glue. I find a much faster way in a moment, but this is what I've tried, and I found that unfortunately using the super glue on the Sculptamold and sticking those in, it really didn't work. The following day they were just falling off, but hey, on this one, this is what I'm trying. And there you have it. A collection of various different foliage around the outside of that CD, and there's the space in the middle where I can place the tree or the crystals or the statue or whatever piece it is that I'm adding into the center there. Let's try that again. So here we go for take two. I've got a bottle of water rather than just a glass, so I've got a lot more water on hand to do this properly, and it's already feeling so much easier to use. And just smoothing it down with a little bit of water as well, that just helped to create that proper feel for sculpting putty. And I use it around the entire of the MDF base as well. Now to give it a paint job, I'm using raw sienna over the entire base. This is certainly a lot easier before sticking the pieces down, and then giving it a dry brush with the unbleached titanium that I've shown in the Gateway to the Gods video. It really was so much easier to do it without the foliage stuck down. Now instead of trying with the super glue, I'm now using the hot glue gun. Again, so much easier. It is just a case of glue stick, glue stick, glue stick, ooh, glue stick. Anyway, did go through quite a few of those glue sticks, but so I found it was a lot easier. Rather than stick them together first of all, I am just sticking down one of those pieces that looks like a nice good base piece, and then a lot of the extra foliage into those pieces that I've already stuck down. While I go ahead and do that building, I'll take a moment here to thank all of my Patreon subscribers. All the people at the Hobby Goodness and the Cord for the Bard, I really appreciate your patronage. But I'd like to make particular thanks to all of the full tacklers. Ancient Rabbit, Andreas Rocco, Charles Fadouk, David Bennett, David Scaberis, Dwayne C. Israelson, Gene Maguire, Joel Cunningham, Judy Hayes, Kevin Goodrich, Christina B., Lopiana, Michael Togwell, Night Lurker, Riri, Sean Rickmeyer, and Tazalanch. Without your support, guys, this channel would not be able to keep going the way that it is. Thank you so much. The last process is just adding the flock around the edge. I don't go all out on this flock, it's just adding patches. That's all you need. The final thing I wanted to talk about was the trees that I used in the center. They actually come from Ian Lovecraft's Feywood campaign, which you can still get the models over on MyMiniFactory, and I'll put a link in the description. Most of them have been stretched to about 120 to 150 degrees height and 85% width. But there we have the final product. And you add whatever inserts you like into the center. Well, there you have it. The jungle trees, CD bases with inserts. Hope that you enjoyed that. If you did, make sure that you hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and turn on that notification bell so that you never miss another episode. If you'd really like to support the channel though, go on over to Patreon at patreon.com/techadeptcrafts. Support us over there, either throw a coin to the bard, join us at the hobby table, or become one of the full tacklers. We'd love to see you as the latest member of our crafting community over on Patreon. Anyway, until next time, keep hobbying. Cheers.